Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Again, we're delving back into 8th edition, and this time I'm going to go through a big list. I think I've got 50 bullet points here of lore changes within 8th edition, and of course the story of the actual 40k now. I'm going to try and go through the list as quick as possible. I won't go into like thoughts and feedback through it all. I'm just going to try and speak out and get through the full list, and hopefully it'll be like a quick reference guide you can use for your friends or anything like that to come back to get the basics down for the new lore. Anyway, let's jump in and let's get started. Okay, so number one, the Great Rift dividing the galaxy in two. So one side can see the Astronomican's light, the other can't. This means that half of the Space Marine chapters which are on the wrong side now can't see the light, so that means they're unaccounted for or they've been destroyed. Number two, there is an assault on Terra. The Emperor's palace is assaulted by a Khorne army. Rebooter Guilliman turns up. He takes charge of the defense with the Primaris plus Custodes plus Sisters of Battle and repels it and wins the day. Number three, during the darkest hour, when all communications were cut, multiple sightings of the Legion of the Damned. So they were saw on Baal, Armageddon, and hundreds of more planets. Number four, the Indominus Crusade, lots of different strike forces led by Guilliman. The Imperial Fists, I mentioned leading during that crusade as well. Number five, Armageddon. There's a mega warp storm. It transforms half of the planet into a demon world. Khorne and Zints fight each other so much that orcs and humans fought side by side briefly to repel chaos. Also to note, the Salamanders prevented a ritual summon of Angron back to the planet. Number six, the Blood Angels are nearly wiped out by High Fleet Leviathan. They got saved by the Rift, splitting the galaxy in half, and also Guilliman turned up and helped them as well. Expect a Khorne vs Blood Angels thing in the future. Number seven, Plague of Plagues. Mortarion besieges Ultramar. There's even a mention of a fight between the two brothers, which comes back to the Mortarion model coming out and all the art that got leaked and got put online and stuff, so look out for that. Number eight, there is a passage that was discovered through the Eye of Terror for a brief time. It was basically a sector owned by Chaos Imperial Knights, which is always fun. Number nine, some things we learned from the actual Horus Heresy is that Fulgrim used a warp-tainted scar from Corpheron's Athame. It's basically this dagger which cuts stuff to wound Guilliman. So that was the thing that actually sliced Guilliman's throat and put him in the state he was in. Again, keeping with the Horus Heresy, Thule became captain of the second company of the Ultramarines after the Heresy. Sadly, his final fate is unknown. Guilliman can't find any records of him in 40k, so maybe he will be coming back. Number 11, Guilliman is the Imperial Regent in 40k. He's basically the voice of the Emperor himself. 12, the plan for the Primaris Space Marines was indeed made before Guilliman's death. Cawl was oath-bounded and used the millennia to craft these legions. 13, Cawl again was originally created tens of thousands of Primaris Space Marines over the course of 10,000 years. 14, half of them were originally formed into chapters. 15, the others were gathered into big armies, each one from a Primarch's gene line. They wear colours of the original legions, so the actual badges are actually crossed with grey chevrons on their shoulders. These armies ignored the Codex as starters, so that is a big point there. 16, the Primaris Marines sometimes fought like a Great Crusade legions, sometimes as little kill teams, sometimes as the size of actually 2 chapters. 17, later in the Indominus Crusade, mixed forces from different gene lines were used. For example, a force made up of Ultramarines, a force made up of Imperial Fist, a force is made up of Space Wolves and all that kind of stuff. 18, they were named the Unnumbered Sons of the Primarchs. They were also known as Grey Shields. They fought in groups of the mixed gene lineage to learn each other's strengths and better themselves, because Guilliman believed that the distance between the various legions played a big part in the actual Horus Heresy. Number 19, During the time of the Indominus Crusade, more and more of these new Primaris Marines died or they got assigned to different chapters to fill in, you know, the people who actually did die and make their numbers back up. This was a big problem for the Primaris Marines because they actually started to like being in this like unnumbered Sun Legion and being with each other. So they were quite, you know, some of them got quite pissed off that they got put into other chapters and that kind of stuff. Number 20, 100 years after the Gathering Storm, only 20,000 unnumbered Suns remained. They were completely disbanded at the end of the actual Crusade, probably formed new chapters or put into chapters which needed refilling because they had heavy losses. Number 21, by the end of the Crusade, 112 years after the Gathering Storm, the Primaris Marines are believed to be accepted by 94% of the chapters. So again, there's a room there for some chapters who don't like them. 22, when Guilliman was reborn, he didn't really understand what had happened in the last 10,000 years, so he basically brought back the remembrances to piece together history from when he died. 23, the records of 40k are in a very, very bad state. They are worse than during the Unification War, so that gives you an inkling on how bad they are. 24, the Inquisition opposed Guilliman on his quest for knowledge. I wonder why. 25, of course, it was impossible to suppress the knowledge of the warp, even when the Inquisition tried. Guilliman doesn't really like that they killed innocents to try to keep these secrets of demons. 26. There's something called the Chronostrife. It is a war within the Ordo Chronicus. It's about the Imperial dating system, and not even the calendar of the Great Crusade had survived 10,000 years. During the Great Crusade and the Heresy, there was a standard dating system. This puts us on to point 27. A true chronicle of the galaxy is almost impossible now. Guilliman calculates the current year anywhere between early M41 and M42. Because the dating systems is in such of a mess, no one really knows what date it is. So there's a big problem at the moment, and Guilliman's trying to sort that out. 28, there are now Tetrarchs again in 40k with 5 Primus planets. 29, there is 10 chapters stationed permanently within Ultramar now, 8 of which are purely Primaris only chapters. 30, the Sisters of Silence see Guilliman as a living saint. They are glad he is back and they worship him. 31, the Custodians have been quite grumpy on Terra. They've basically been stationed on Terra. They haven't left Terra in the last 10,000 years. They haven't really seen any action besides there was an incident with Harlequins which tried to breach the throne room. Go and read the Beast that Rises series if you want more information about that. They are now back and fighting fit, and they are purging the galaxy in his righteous name. 32, when Guilliman spoke with the Emperor during the Gathering Storm, he was shocked how his father really sees him, not as a son, but as a tool. Number 33, we go into the details of the Emperor's humanity is all but gone in 40k now. 34, the psychic aftershocks of the visit with the Emperor still trouble Guilliman 100 years later about his father. 35, he's unsure whether the Emperor is a god or not, though he's still leaning towards no. 36, the Eldari, which are basically Eldar now, told Guilliman the history of the universe, including the war in heaven and about chaos. 37, already 100 years after the Horus Heresy, the normal Space Marines seem to be weaker and worse than Great Crusade era Space Marines. Maybe this is why Guilliman wanted to do the actual Primaris program, because the Marines were getting weaker. 38, there are Primaris librarians. 39, it seems like Rabuti isn't really a fan of Primaris Marines. This brings us on to point 40. He only sees them as a tool, which is quite funny, as he was offended when his father saw him as a tool, so it's quite, you know, going back in a full circle. 41, It's also implied that Guilliman is actually a psyker. He doesn't use his potential because of Magnus's censorship. The Emperor's sword, which he uses, is actually a psychic weapon, but he doesn't use it with all his power. So again, it's confirmed that Rebuke Guilliman is a psychic, but he doesn't really want to unleash all his psychic power. 42, he still thinks in Practica and Theoretica. 43, Guilliman is editing the Codex Astartes. This leads into the creation of an 11th company, and he's creating another codex called the Codex Imperialis, which is really, really big news. 44, Sicaris now leads the Victrix Guard. Guilliman thinks he's a bit like Thule, and he's trying to form him into a real political leader, and not only just, you know, a warrior champion and stuff like that. 45, Belisarius Cawl tries to persuade Guilliman into using Gene Seed from the Traitor and Lost Legions. This is an actual quote. These warriors were not at fault. The science was not at fault. Their Primarchs were. Chapters from your gene line have also fallen in past millennia, Lord Regent, and we do not censor them. I said no, said Guilliman forcefully. So Guilliman is totally against this. 46, going back to the Horus Heresy / Scouring, Russ and Khan were still there and kicking when Guilliman got killed. 47, there are two prominent Primaris Space Marine characters. One is called Justinian, who gets sent to an Ultramarine successor chapter, and Captain Felix, who later becomes a Tetrarch of the Eastern Quadrant of Ultramar, so maybe we'll get some books of them actually in the future. 48, Cawl is quite detached from the wider galaxy. He lived for the quest of creating the Primaris Marines. He also has his own sub-faction within the Mechanicus, and not everyone there likes him for what he does. 49, Cawl also implies that the genetic deformations of the gene seeds have been removed. So for example, the Blood Angels with the Black Rage and the Space Wolves and the Wolfen and stuff, they can be removed, so that should be interesting thing for future stuff. And the last one, 5, which is we're actually going to end it with, is that Cawl is currently tasked with recreating the pylons so Guilliman can seal the holes in space. So they want that Necron tech to work so they can seal the Great Rift and maybe seal the actual Eye of Terror itself. Okay chaps, that is me done. This was just a quick video. I say quick video, I think we've just gone past 12 minutes now. But yeah, I didn't really want to go into a full depth of like each point and stuff. I just wanted to get some of the main points out there. A big shout out to Black Viper MWG for getting all these bullet points together and stuff. Without him this video wouldn't be possible, so please go to the link in the description and go and thumb up his thread over on Reddit on 40k Lore. He's done a fantastic job. For me, that's it chaps. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've got some information. Please share the video with your friends if you feel fit to, and yeah, let's get people talking about all this new lore. And please tell me what you think about it as well. I would love to get some feedback on it. There's some little bits where I'm a bit concerned about, and my eyebrows are raised. I wonder where they're going to go with certain bits. So we shall see very soon enough. For people who don't know as well, this is going to be a little shameless plug. I am going to be doing a build guide for my new Primaris Space Marine chapter, which I'm going to be getting hopefully soon. It is going to be the Black Templars. I'm going the route of the true Crusaders of 40k, so I'm going to be doing a build log of them very soon. I'm just looking for the right camera and stuff like that, so if anyone's got any suggestions on video cameras, please let me know, and I shall go and check them out. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the video chaps, and I shall see you all very soon. See you now, and